his shoulder right on top of my knee. Once I dipped my arm in, I had that same connection, that same ability to make him post. Always switch to this. Give yourself one more distance management here. All right, stiff arm like Heisman Trophy. Boom. Move your hip, slide your knee in, and we're ready to start to build up to get our sweep. Okay? All right. Like I said, one that I've used a lot in my career, very safe, very clean. Okay? Now, the last one, I'll hold the wrist this way. Okay? Big detail. As soon as I go to the leg, I move my hip under. I'm flaring this knee out, and my other knee is under his butt, working to get him off balance. He's what? Okay? Now, post, adjust. You see how I open myself to get on my elbow? Now, I'm ready to wrestle up and get that 2 points. All right? So, a clean entry, getting them off balance. Sometimes it can be a sweep in itself. You know, it's rare, but it happens where we hit it so hard, they just fall over, okay? And we can take advantage of that, or just use it to build, get into your sweep game or your leg entanglements. All right, let's start to talk about how to bring another layer into our knee shield half guard. And that's where we're going to kind of stop playing knee shield half guard and just transition our knee shield into a butterfly hook, okay? You know, if I feel like someone isn't engaging enough to allow me to work all of those submissions that we've already covered and the drags and everything, then I like to insert my hook to give myself a new way to cause problems, okay? And also kind of give them the opportunity to think they can smash me a little bit as well. And then from there, we're going to use that to our advantage. And let's look at a very simple butterfly hook sweep, all right? So maybe, you know, he's done a great job hand fighting, you know, never really letting me get 2 points of control. Maybe he's even just kind of like sitting back a little bit, not giving me much to work with, okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my knee shield in as a butterfly hook, right? And when I do this, I kind of take my leg out of the way a little bit, right? So, you know, it allows me to kind of come up and start hunting him a little bit. But to be honest, I like to let them feel like they can come in and smash me, okay? And now I'm going to start to play with an overhook, and I have this half guard, half butterfly guard, okay? So my leg is still tracking his leg with my butterfly hook inside. Now, I would never let anyone come in like this without the wrist control, okay? Once again, we always have control of this arm. Sometimes I might not have the wrist completely, but I at least have the bicep, okay? I need to be careful in this situation of him getting a full body out, all right? So I never want to sit up and not have anything blocking that arm from coming underneath my back and making a lock. Once he makes a lock, I'll have a much harder time sweeping him and maneuvering him. They can put some good pressure on, all right? But as long as I have the bicep, okay, if he backs that arm up a little bit, you know, I'll stay on his arm and give myself the opportunity to slide down to his wrist, all right? Now I'm locked and loaded, okay? I have my overhook, I have my wrist control, we're ready to go for our sweep, okay? Now notice how I've never really moved from my right side, okay? My right butt cheek has been the only point of my body on the mat as far as my hips go, okay? I'm not going to put myself flat and try to find my hook sweep. I'm always staying loaded in this angle, okay? Now, once I'm ready, I'm going to start to shove this hand down towards the legs and go from my elbow to my shoulder, okay? So I'm going to shove it down and start to fold to my shoulder. Now I'll take my half guard leg out and start to bring it across. You see, I'm getting my toes on the back, and here I have my hook ready to go, okay? So I want my bottom leg to be my lift-off leg. So every time we do a hook sweep, we're going to load, we're going to bring them forward, and then we're ready to drive off our bottom toes, almost like we're inverting and kick to complete the sweep, okay? So that's how I'm going to get my leverage. Super important that we're doing that, and we're not just relying on the hook leg itself, okay? It's the hook leg holding them in position as we lift ourselves up, and then we follow over into the top position, all right? So, again, we got into the butterfly half, okay? We done a good job catching the overhook. We always had some control of this arm. We managed to get the wrist. I like to get on my elbow first so I can really load strong. I'll take my butterfly hook, my half guard hook leg out. I shove his wrist down. I'm getting onto my shoulder. My leg came under so I can start to lift myself up and kick and do my best to follow this all the way over into the mount position, okay? We might not always land in mount. He might kind of end up catching my foot a little bit, but we're going to be in a beautiful spot where we can work on his head, or continue to pass the step leg, okay? So that is the basic hook sweep idea right there. I should move a little bit over here, okay? So we were playing knee shield. He wasn't giving me much to work with, all right? So we start to put our butterfly hook in, okay? He sees this as an opportunity to get on my hip. Perfect. We overhook, all right? Kind of kick away a little bit to get up onto our elbow. Now I'll take this leg out. You see how I bring my foot across. I shove, I get on my shoulder, I'm lifting up, and I'm keeping this connection the whole while. Don't just kick it away and allow there to be an opportunity for him to scramble, okay? My leg doesn't really extend. I carry him, and I follow all the way on top, right? So again, we're here. Boom. Look, I don't really extend it. I just bounce through. It's not till the very end that I'll let my leg go out to look to get to top position, okay? Now, obviously, no one just wants to allow themselves to be swept, okay? So it doesn't even take like anyone high level, to know that, hey, I'm going to fall over here. I need to put my leg up and create a post to resist the sweep. So I want to look at just one little extra addition here. Probably one of the techniques that I use the most with my hook sweep. Of course, it's very common to want to go under into an X guard, but this is just a super simple way to trip that leg out, all right? So if we start to get going with our hook sweep, okay? So we got in position, and he does the obvious and posts his left leg to keep himself from falling, all right? Like I said, super common. Now it's hard for me to lift up and resist against that. So that leg that was inside, driving off the floor, now it's going to come over here, and I'm just going to get my kind of the palm of my foot right around his shin, and I'm just going to scoop his leg out as I continue with my sweeping motion. Okay, this is a very beautiful option. I like to play butterfly guard, and this is one of the main things that I do, gi or no gi. Just look to give that leg a nice little sweep on a sweep while we're sweeping. Okay, so again, all right, we put our butterfly hook in, boom, we find our overhook, we're in position, we start to go into our sweep, and he bastes, yes, just like this, okay? Make sure we keep this arm tight, everything's tight. I can move a little bit, You see how I use my toes to move my hip out so I can reach this, okay? Once I reach it, I'm just sweeping it out as I continue to kick, come over on top to complete the hook sweep, all right? So now we're opening up some new doors, all right, playing with that butterfly hook in there, and just focusing on getting that butterfly hook engaged and getting them off balance. And we're going to see how this hook sweep can lead also into some of our submission attacks, very similar to what we've already covered. All right, so one of the first submissions that we looked at from our knee shield was the triangle. Now I want to bring that into our butterfly half guard game with the overhook. Going off of that mental and that base to resist the hook sweep, that is also a beautiful time for us to kind of switch and go into submission mode, all right? The triangle is there, and so is the Omoplata as a backup plan, and we can really connect some of the techniques we've already covered into that position, all right? So just like we're already doing, we're going to bring our butterfly hook in and start to change the game a little bit, okay? I'm able to get my overhook, and we go for our, standard kind of baseline technique, which is the hook sweep. Now, he bases his leg, okay, just like before. All right. Now, instead of, trying to trip the leg or whatever, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this foot to the hip, okay? Super important that we go to the hip before we start to take our leg out of the hook and go submission, for the submission attacks, okay? I need this leg here because I have to respect his ability to pressure me, all right? If I just take the leg out and I try a triangle, if he's got great pressure, he's going to drive in, maybe cut his knee, and pass my guard right here in this moment. I have no control. Exactly. The knee cut is there, okay? I lose my ability to control the distance once I take my butterfly hook out. So if I'm losing this hook, I need the other foot in position, ready to allow me to control the distance, okay? So we're here, his base, all right? I'm going to bring my foot to the hip. Now I can take this leg out and have my control. I can keep him away. You see I'm pushing and makes him fall down, all right? And from here, this leg can come over top and start to bite down to control his posture, okay? I have the wrist control. What does this look like? All right, it looks very similar to our triangle attack that we looked at in the beginning from the knee shield, okay? Now, what I like to do is go ahead and take out my overhook, so then when I bring my leg through, I can catch my shin again, all right? So at that point, I don't need the overhook anymore. I like to have my hand ready, so as soon as my leg comes over, I can catch the shin, and we can get that beautiful triangle in this angle where we can get that finish right away, okay? So, pretty standard technique, all right? The biggest thing I want you to know is that we put this foot in the hip first before we take the butterfly hook out. Super important, so I can keep his head down. I don't want his head all the way up in my face, all right? And that's one of the big mistakes people make when they go for this triangle attack. They take the hook out and they go for the triangle, but then his head gets too close, and now I'm super vulnerable to getting my guard pass, all right? So, foot in the hip first. Now the hook leg can come out, and right as I come out to bite, I take my hand out of the overhook, so I'm ready to catch the leg for the triangle. And just so you guys know, if his head, if it kind of slides out or my leg gets stuck, once again, we have all the omoplata options, the spiral arm bar, everything that we've already discussed is going to be right here as well. And it's super safe. Once again, I can't reiterate enough how important it is for me to have that foot in the hip. I know he's not going anywhere right here. Okay. So hook sweep. Actually, let's go a little bit over here. We can see the leg work a little more. So he bases on my initial hook sweep. I didn't get it. Boom. Foot comes in, kick him down. As we come out, boom, there's my bite. My hand is ready. Leg comes through. Boom, here's a triangle. And we have the omoplata stuff as a backup, just in case, all right? Once again, very standard, but key detail, getting the foot in the hip, keeping their head in the perfect position for us to be able to attack these submissions without risking a possible guard pass or anyone that just